Hi everyone. This video is going to be about week 5 of distance learning. Now, if you're not up to week 5 yet and you have fallen a little bit behind, please see my videos in the announcements, which is right up here. And I have week 4, week 3, and week 2. But for this video, we're going to be talking about week 5. So we're going to go into modules. Remember, week 2 was going to be talking about picking one of those 3 monsters, the vulture, Komodo dragon, or jellyfish, and filling out your graphic organizer or your research informational chart and submitting that. Then for week 3, you're going to use that same monster that you picked and you're going to write an introduction paragraph. Week 4, last week, you were to write your 3 body paragraphs on that same monster. And your first body paragraph should have been about the problem that the monster caused. The second body paragraph was going to be about who that problem affects. And the third body paragraph is how are we going to solve this problem? And so you're going to submit that here in 2.08, your 3 body paragraphs. Week 5, there is no quiz this week. You have 2 assignments to submit. The first assignment is going to be writing your conclusion. So at this point, you have your research done, you have your introduction, and your 3 body paragraphs. This week, we're going to be focusing on writing an effective and successful conclusion. So slide 2 is going to be your objective. Slide 3 is going to show you about making your conclusion count. So same way if you were to read a book, watch TV, have a conversation with someone, or even play a video game. So if you played a video game and you got all the way to the last level and it just repeated stuff from the first 4 levels, how would you feel if you didn't get that ending and you just got something that repeated? I wouldn't be too happy. And neither are your readers if you're just repeating stuff over and over. If you were having a conversation with someone and it was really great and then all of a sudden it just got really boring, how would you feel? Same thing with watching a movie. If you're waiting for that ending and you're waiting to see how this is going to end and you got something totally new happening and they didn't solve for the problem that was happening before, you would feel like you got cheated out on a good ending. And so you probably wouldn't want to watch that movie again. And same thing with the book. If you were to read a book and they had no ending, they just left the last chapter out, you didn't conclude your essay, is the same way. So we want to make sure that we are ending strong. We're not repeating ourselves. We're not leaving out the conclusion altogether, and that we are just finishing really strong. You're going to give your reader what they deserve. So there are 4 parts of an effective conclusion. You have your use of transition words. Now, we talked about these in the previous lessons, but if you need a reminder of what some of those examples are, you can click the reference sheet. And here are some really good examples on how to emphasize or make your statements important. If you're going to provide examples, this right here is going to be some good signal words to show that you are providing some evidence. And to summarize, now these might be good for this lesson, for this conclusion. These are all signal words or phrases you can use to show that you are summarizing. So take a look at that. Another part of an effective conclusion is rephrasing your ideas in your thesis. You're not restating them word for word like you did before, but you're going to rephrase them. Then you're going to summarize your main points. At the end, you're going to include a clincher. And this is where you're going to leave your reader thinking. You want to leave a lasting impression. You're going to end strong. So the 4 parts are using those transition words, rephrasing your ideas in your thesis, summarizing your main points, and including a clincher. You need all 4 parts to have an effective conclusion. And I'm going to go ahead and apologize. My brain and my mouth are not a cohesive unit today. They're just not working together, so I cannot talk, but I apologize. You get the point. All right, slide 5 is going to be tips and tricks. Slide 6 is going to show you that example. So before, the example of bed bugs, they showed you a really good, strong 2 introduction paragraphs, one using 2 different types of hooks. They're going to provide you those 4 paragraphs again. So the 3 body paragraphs and the introduction. So if you want to take a look at what those look like, they're here for you. And then what do you think's next? They're going to provide you an effective conclusion. So they're going to give you 4 examples. One's going to be effective and 3 are not effective. So there's your hint, okay? Read through them and see which one is effective, and I would take note of what an effective and a strong conclusion looks like. So you're going to go through this and then you're going to submit. Slide 8 is going to be your review or your recap. So you're always going to use a transition. You're going to rephrase the ideas in your thesis, summarize your main point, and include that clincher and strong. And you're going to write in third person. We're not using I, we, us. Slide 9 is going to be your instructions. So you're going to read the lesson, finish the interactive slides, and read the instructions. So we're going to click instructions, and it's going to tell you all the things that we just talked about that you need in your conclusion. You're going to type that up in Word, and you're going to submit it to 2.09. So let's go back up to modules. We're in week 5, 2.09. This is where you're going to submit your conclusion, and it's worth 50 points. The second part of this week's lesson is 2.10, kick it up a notch. So in this lesson, you're going to learn the revision process, and you're going to be revising just one of your paragraphs. So your objective is going to learn how to combine sentences, revising your writing for coherence, syntax, and conventions of English grammar. And we'll get into that in just a second. Slide 3 is going to tell you that there's a 3-part process. There's 3 steps in the revision process. The first step is coherence. So that is making things flow. That's connecting your ideas logically. So you're going to go through this interactive slide. You're going to flip it over, and you're going to read that and hit next. The second step in revision is syntax. And that's where if you have too many short sentences, it'll make your essay sound choppy. If you have too many long sentences, you might confuse your reader. We will not know if you have no punctuation. We don't know where one idea begins and one idea stops. So make sure that you don't have too many long sentences. You want to have a good variety of both. And so that is your syntax. Slide 6 is going to show these simple sentences, compound sentences, and complex sentences. Slide 7 is going to talk about the third step of the English language conventions, and that is your spelling, capitalization, and punctuation. And those are very important. Slide 8 is going to give you some helpful tips on spelling, capitalization, and punctuation, and this might be a good review for you. Slide 9 is going to be your review or your recap, and it's going to give you the final steps in the writing process, which is the revision. So your coherence is your ideas connecting logically. Is your spelling, punctuation, and capitalization correct? And do you have a nice flow to your essay? Do you have too many long sentences, or do you have too many short sentences? And so you need to look at the syntax and reread it to yourself. Slide 10 is going to be what is your assignment? So you're going to read that lesson, finish the interactive slides, and then click the instructions. So for this assignment, you're going to be submitting an original paragraph and then a revised paragraph. So you're going to pick one of your body paragraphs, either the one that talks about the problem with the monster, who it affects, or the solution to the problem. Pick one of the body paragraphs and you're going to revise it. So I want to see the original and the revised. And if you want to see an example, I will show you one right here. Here is an example revision. So here's the original paragraph about vultures. Okay. And then here is the revised. So you can see the capitalization was revised, the punctuation, grammatical errors, sentences were revised. And so the changes were highlighted You don't have to highlight your changes. I just did this as an example to show you there are a variety of different revisions made, okay? So I only want to see your original paragraph that you chose and then the revised paragraph, and that's what you're going to submit for 2.10. Not your whole essay, just the 2 paragraphs, the original and the revised. So I hope that helps for week 5. If you have any other questions, please email me or text me. If you need to Zoom, I can Zoom. Just message me. And if you need help with the previous lessons, please go back and look at those videos. I hope this helps, and I will see you next time. Later, guys.